Your word is formaldehyde.
Can you use it in a sentence?
As you're sitting in your basement, you hit your vape, but then your mom walks in, freaks out, and starts listing the toxic chemicals you could be inhaling into your body, like formaldehyde, which she singles out because it's the same chemical used to preserve your Uncle Rico's funky-smelling taxidermied fox. Formaldehyde. Vaping can expose you to toxic chemicals like formaldehyde. No need to spell it out any more than that. Brought to you by The Real Cost and FDA.
With the McDonald's app, you can get your favorite thing delivered to your door, so you can eat your favorite thing while you watch your favorite thing at home. Order McDelivery in the McDonald's app. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
At participating McDonald's, delivery prices may be higher than at restaurants. Delivery and other fees may apply.
Ask me. Ask Iliza anything. It's time to ask. Ask me all your questions. Leave them in the Instagram comment section. Leave them on your Twitter or leave them on your Facebook. We'll see them. We'll read them. Then we'll give you answers. You know it. I've got it. I've got the answer. The answer. You ask me. I'll tell you anything.
This is the last podcast episode where I'm coming to you from my sunny English countryside window.
You're in the dark.
God, I just want to live. I just want to live. It's impossible to light me in here on a flower farm. I want to have one of those farms that like casually also grows rutabaga and some flowers. And we have a couple of apples that make their way, and we just leave them by the side of the road. Come get them, or leave what you can. We also have a free library, and we have a goat that we don't milk, so it's very full all the time. That's why I want a full goat. Summer's over, baby. It's Labor Day weekend, and we're back at it. If you're listening to this, that means you are back into September, which is not the summer, but not the fall. It's a nothing month.
No. And you just had like maybe a day off, and now it's a while until you get another one.
It's a while for people who do like a little amount at their job and just like monkey bar from vacation day to vacation day. It is hot. It is unseasonably hot. There's objectively getting hotter, but September is, in some parts of the world, you're like, ooh, a little bit of cold, but like it's not cold, it's not hot. It's just there. It's just the end of summer, beginning of school.
Right. Children are going back.
I had the dumbest blonde thought the other day. No one tells blonde jokes anymore, but I was like, it's crazy that after September, it's October. Like, I feel like there should be like an interim month, like an extra fall month.
Everybody's doing all their little Halloween memes. Me August 31st, me September 1st. And then September 1st is like Michael Myers or pumpkin spice latte or whatever.
It is truly disgusting to celebrate Halloween when it's hot outside.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about this often, but I am standing up for Thanksgiving that gets no visibility because everyone's like, LOL, it's Halloween. Now my pumpkins are green and white. Christmas is here. I get that we all like to live in these spaces, but like now that we only have hot and cold, people are going to miss the fall because there's no more fall. It's just fucking hot.
Yeah. Is there snow where you are? Like not right now, but in the winter?
No, and it's definitely chilly in other parts of the world. I get that, whatever. But for most of us, like, I don't know. And celebrating holidays early is fucking gross. Like the fact that you can walk into a Home Depot and there's just like miles of gigantic ghosts. Like, when did we become this? You know, I'll know. I know the answer. When we started getting everything from China for $1, pretending we care about human rights, but having that cognitive dissonance between like, I want 85 bright pink plaid ghosts, and I'm sure they were fairly made, not by children's little hands.
I want a 10-foot skeleton, and I'm going to get it different clothes.
Where do you think all this shit's coming from? My Sheen haul, my Halloween haul, 50 different buckets. I know I talk about this a lot, but like I hope a tide is turning. Like I hope people are starting to look at that generation of internet as cringy, that people are just like over consuming things that you could not possibly use.
Yeah.
This is a spray just for the left flap of my vagina, and it's got 2 spritzes in it, and I carry it in a micro purse the size of my pinky.
We're back to Stanley accessory videos.
I get it. It is like you do want it, but like try having a culture or a cause and making that your personality. versus just like how much cheap plastic from China can I affix to this gigantic iced coffee the size of my fucking torso.
Yeah.
That being said, my husband this morning was like, what is the deal with you and coffee? We got half a cup of hot coffee here. You bought one earlier. There's one in the fridge. And I was like, yeah, it's not the coffee itself. It's the potential that the cup holds. And I think a lot of women resonate with that. And the biggest potential I'm hoping it holds is that it'll make me poop. And if it doesn't, you just have another one because you're always going to need more energy. So I like to store it up like a battery. That light.
Where do you leave all these cups?
Just around. But the truth is I do come back and sip on them later. Like I will drink a 2-day-old iced coffee in the refrigerator.
You've seen Signs, right? The film.
Where they put the water everywhere. Yeah.
That's when I get sick. It's the only time I make myself hydrate. And so I'll just have like open cups of water and juice and whatever, just all over the home.
I get the joke of like women need like one for caffeine and energy, one for water, one for fucking Diet Coke because you want to die early. But like the jury is in. The jury is in. The jury's out.
Jury's out if they haven't decided.
The jury is in. The votes are in. That energy drinks are empirically bad for you.
Oh, they're so disgusting to taste too.
They're disgusting, and people are like, I'll just drink 6 Celsiuses. I'm sure my heart won't explode. Like, folks, the answer is you just need to drink water from a source that you can keep going back to, not a bottle. Just drink your water. You want to have a soda once in a while, but this thing where it's your personality that you're drinking this energy, like, I don't know. I feel like somebody's counting their money as they're like giving everyone cancer. Doesn't it just feel like everyone has cancer?
You could 100% invent an energy drink.
I just put my face on it.
Right, exactly. And be like The Rock or a Twitch streamer or whatever that's like, this is my disgusting energy drink. There's
you think
so many
The Rock
of them.
drinks Zoa? Yeah, like give me a break. You think The Rock drinks a can of pink Zoa? People will drink it. They want to be close to a brand. I get it. But these things are not regulated by the FDA because a long time ago they lobbied to be like, the government can't tell us what a vitamin is or isn't. So you're just drinking something someone made and they don't have your best interest in mind. If you can pronounce and tell me what all the ingredients are in that energy drink, I mean, you can have it either way. I'm just saying.
Right. Do whatever you want.
Taurine.
Taurine.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
I know people are like on their way to work right now and I'm actually having a great day. Having a great day. I put Sierra in a little blueberry outfit. She went and picked blueberries. It was very sweet.
Like a full like Violet Beauregard.
So that is her nightmare because she has seen Willy Wonka. I don't think she connects the two. She knows that Violet was rude and that's why she got juiced.
Mm-hmm.
Something I threatened her. I'm like, you can get juiced.
She was rude.
Violet, you know what? She wasn't rude. She was just American. She was like, hey, chewing gum, like, I got an idea. She was just outspoken, but I guess that gets you juiced. Gets you juiced.
All right. You want to help the people? Well, first you got to fight.
I got to fight to earn my dinner.
You're going to fight. Yeah. All right.
Let's fight. I'm starving.
Listen, I get it. Sometimes you just need to break a rule. And I am a courteous person and I tend to yield and let people pass or move out of the way. But I feel very strongly if you decide to walk through the exit to enter the store or to walk out the entrance when exiting the store, you are the one who is wrong. And I should not have to get out of your way just because you've decided that this is how you're going to color outside the lines. Fight me.
I think objectively, of course, you're going to agree with this person, right? But I like this idea that they're saying that this is how people decide to do their little rebellions.
I actually don't think people decide it. I think people kind of don't realize it. The only place it's glaring that like this is one way, this is the other is like in Japan. Like if everybody's going up the stairs on the right side, nobody's going up on the left side. And you look bad, like social pressure, you look bad. It's one thing if you want to hustle up there because there's no one there. But then it's just kind of like, do you want to go to the mat on this? You're just going to have like a north walking Zach, south walking Zach. Shout out to that Dr. Seuss reference standoff where you just stare at each other. I also wonder, it depends on the environment, but like, is it kind of like the flow of traffic thing? Like if the speed limit is 50, but everybody's going 70, are you now the problem? Even though you did the right thing, does it become the wrong thing? Because now you're the menace. But I hear you. It's more just they're at fault if you were to smash into each other and the mall and the Home Depot cops were to come or the Costco cops were to come. They'd be like, who is going which way? So I hear you.
Yeah, but there's really nothing to be done about it. Like I was at a convention this weekend with my dad, and every time someone cut him off, he'd be like, yeah, fuck you too. And I'm like, what is your, if this person turns around to engage, what's the outcome you want? Like, what are you going to get? They already went the wrong way. What are we going to get at this point? And he's like, well, they're going to realize they're doing the wrong thing and then they won't do it again. I said, no, they're not. They're never going to realize. They don't care.
They don't care. Most people, rather than get humbled, just get really angry or they become indignant. I think it just depends. It's nice when people are like, oh God, I didn't even realize it. But I think especially like my big pet peeve is like, we have to go out before you can come in, like an elevator. People are raised by the internet and they have no fucking clue what manners are. Their parents are just out to lunch. Like no one taught them and they're like, excuse me. And so, or like with the people, sometimes people aren't rude. They're just unaware. Like when you're walking off the plane, we all know this one and someone just stops. I will just say like, you have to walk. You have to walk. And whatever, like you're a billion years old. Like you're not going to catch me. But like sometimes you're so in the right that it's like, what are you going to do? Yell at me now that you're extra embarrassed? I'm already in my Uber. Goodbye.
Yeah. I think it says, I don't understand those people in that if I unthinkingly walk up to an elevator and then there's people trying to get off, I back up like mortified. Like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to get in your way.
No,
you have the right of way.
Person.
You didn't really get a fight in because you agree with this person.
Yeah. I tend to be a good person, but yeah. And decide with what's right. Yeah, that's a tough one. That's tough when you know better and society is just doing it wrong. And obviously integrity is like what you do if you do the right thing when no one is looking. I was like trying to explain what integrity was to my daughter. And I was like, just listen to the bare necessities from the Jungle Book. I think they sing about integrity. I don't know.
I cut in a line over the weekend, somewhat by accident. I knew what I was doing at a certain point, but I had already been kind of crowd surfed to where I was. And it would have been harder to get out of where I wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah.
And I was with my dad and we just spent the whole like panel we were at like, oh no, we did something bad. We shouldn't have been allowed in here. What happened? How'd this happen to us? Like people just have very different ways that they approach the world.
I feel like people are turning off today's episode. I feel like it's a low energy. We got to kick it up.
Because we spent 20 minutes of high energy trying to start the episode.
We really did. It was one of those. We talked about
all
this.
My energy.
Where your technology is one way and then one day it's like, sorry, don't know your microphone or your camera or you. Have you ever logged into your own computer? So we're back. Here we go.
We're back. Let's
Welcome
answer.
To September, motherfuckers. Hot cold.
Hot cold.
This show is sponsored by BetterHelp.
I know being thankful is on everyone's minds, and with thankfulness comes gratitude, a concept that, honestly, really bothers me. I'm tired of thanking everyone else. You know who deserves a thank you? Me. You deserve a thank you. When's the last time you thanked yourself? Sometimes it's hard to remind ourselves that we are doing the absolute best we can. So here I am reminding you to send some thanks to the people in your life, but mostly send some thanks to yourself. And a great way to do that is with therapy. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online. It's designed to be convenient, flexible, and it's suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire and you get matched with a licensed therapist, and you can switch therapists at any time, no additional charge. You don't have to travel anywhere. They take the hassle out of finding that perfect therapist. Let the gratitude flow with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/Iliza today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Iliza. Fall has fallen. Winter is on its way. The days are shorter. But just because, they feel shorter. And just because the days feel shorter doesn't mean your to-do list gets any shorter. You still have to power through your busy days. And a great way to do that is with nutritious food from Factor's no prep, no mess meals. At the end of a short day in the fall or the winter, the last thing you want to do is have to cook. Factor has got you covered from breakfast, snacks, dinner, anything in between. Factor has easy, nutritious options to keep you fueled, like their chicken Florentine with spinach and garlic chili cauliflower. You bet That's what I want to make myself at the end of a day where I am exhausted and my husband isn't home. Whether you like routine or you enjoy mixing things up, Factor has you covered with 35 different delicious meals every week and over 60 additional convenience options you can add on, like keto cookies, pressed juices, and smoothies. And because Factor meals are chef prepared and dietitian approved, you're going to love not only Factor's meals taste, but also how they support your goals, even if your goal was just making yourself dinner. Head to factormeals.com/Eliza50 and use code Eliza50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Eliza50 at factormeals.com/Eliza50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while your subscription is active. So finally, fall is here. I have been looking forward to it. I have had a hard year in a good way. You know, like I had a baby. I have been on a nonstop tour, nonstop traveling, and it's been hot. So I'm looking forward to, of course, pumpkin spice, everything, cooler weather, and slipping into a cozy sweater from Quince. I've talked about Quince before. Quince has beautiful leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim, and so much more. All Quince items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Dressing expensive doesn't have to be expensive. Their clothing is beautiful, it's durable, it stands the test of time, and it's what I like to call a capsule wardrobe. I got an Italian wool cocoon coat. That's one of those, you know, it's got like a European collar and it covers my butt so I can walk around New York City and not be chilly. And Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/Eliza for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/Eliza to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/Eliza.
All right, let's answer it. Hi, Iliza and crew. I need help with a response to a teammate who lacks boundaries. We are hybrid, and when in the office, we do lunch and talk about work. This was fine until she started calling me more. She rarely asks if I am free and will call me on Teams at random. Iliza, do you use Teams? It's like...
What do you think, Emily? Like, why would I use Teams?
It's like
why would I... I know what it is, but no, I don't. I mean...
Just to contextualize, it's like a Zoom where you're always logged in. It's like AIM. So imagine just suddenly getting a video call from your coworkers.
That's awful. I didn't know that. Is that the same as Blue Jeans?
Yes. Uh-huh. So
I always thought it was like just like a network that we're all on, so people can just reach you.
Yeah. So Teams is like, that's what my work uses. It's chat software plus video software plus. So people will message me or they'll be like, oh, can you hop on a quick call? Ring. Or they'll call and they'll video call. And you'll go,
ring.
Hello.
I need that. I need that for you and my manager. And that's it.
Yeah,
ring,
you would love
bitch.
it. Because when you're at work and you're working remotely,
you should be right.
You're
in
available
minds,
during those hours.
You should just be glued to your screen. You cannot go take a dump. You cannot get a snack. You cannot go get fresh air.
Every time I take a dump, someone calls me and then I have to go back and be like, I was away.
What happens if you don't answer?
It goes to like voicemail. I mean, it just depends. Like the problem is the expectation now is that you will answer or you will call back momentarily because you're at work.
But if you're at work, like at an office, then you shouldn't be expected to answer because you're like, sorry, I was in another cubicle hiding.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, if you're at the office, somebody's probably going to wander by and be like, hey, I wanted to ask you about this. This is a way to get in touch with everybody when you're not in the office.
I saw this meme this weekend that was like a majestic, beautiful picture of some mountains. And they were like, man saw this and then invented Microsoft Teams. And I was like, yeah, you only see beautiful things in the background of your computers now. That's fucked up. That's like a digital leash.
You find the sound is very triggering. So like when I hear it, it's like Teams has a specific song. It's like, duh, 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 duh. And it starts going, and I'm downstairs like sipping a soda, and I go running. Oh, my boss
and
calling.
You know that they like met forever. They're like, what won't trigger humans, but will lull them. But also now it doesn't matter what the sound is. It could be a babbling brook. You're like, oh no, it's babbling.
Right. So all of that is to say, this person's teammate will call them on Teams at random. So they're getting a random video call from their coworker. So.
It's too futuristic. That's too dystopian. I hate that. If I were calling, it would just be this eye. I'd be like, where are you? Where are you? That would be me calling you on Microsoft Teams.
That's kind of how you FaceTime. You're one of the only people that will just randomly do a FaceTime. So sometimes I do it back to you. I'm always like, she probably thinks I'm dying.
Look, we all saw Inspector Gadget. We all remember that Penny had a laptop before laptops existed. She had a book that had all of this computer gear in it. We were begging for FaceTime. Every sci-fi movie had a call where you could like see the face. And now that we have it, nobody uses it because everyone wants to be like, no, I'm ignoring people. I like plants better than people. You asked for this brave new tomorrow and you fucking got it.
Right.
Okay?
I just always think of Romy and Michelle like, I'm the Rhoda. And they're really old and they're on that video call, remember?
No, they definitely, nobody fights about being the Rhoda.
Oh,
I'm
you're
the Mary.
the Rhoda.
I'm the Mary. Where she like is with Sandy Frank, who she's
they're
definitely
old.
not sexually attracted to.
No, he's just rich.
What is the moral? Well, I love that movie. What's the moral of that story? Like someone's like a little bit weirder looking now, but rich. So you're with them?
No, maybe it's okay. Her and Mira or Romy and Michelle, they're like a weird asexual couple that only spend time with each other. So she's like, yeah, I have fun with Sandy Frank and he'll buy us our store. We'll hang out with him. And neither of them are having sex. And he goes, look, I got the hot girl from high school. And she goes, look, I have my boutique.
The only person having sex was Janine Garofalo. I only say all this because we're writing a movie that echoes this movie in this moment. And I think you're going to love it.
Ooh, because I love that movie
Yeah.
with Justin Theroux, hot cowboy or asshole cowboy.
Oh my God,
I think she calls him.
I was like, you're right. I would love to hit a stutter. That's right. Okay, moving on. I would love to cast him.
Okay, so continuing this story, we have set up that this person's coworker randomly calls them on Teams. They go on to say, it's usually never a quick question. She always wants to hang on and chat. Recently, if I have my away or busy message up on Teams, she will call my cell. She has called my cell upwards of 3 times in one day before. She always talks about home life or how overwhelmed she is, but our whole team is busy and it distracts me to small talk. I had a busy day recently and was on DND, do not disturb, all day. Then she texts me. When I respond at my leisure, she calls. Ugh. Now, she's a nice person to work with. She's a very hard worker, so I don't want to shut this down harshly like I normally would. But how do I tell her I am busy all day and the last thing I want to do when logging off is talk about more work? I also find it very rude that if I'm busy on my work computer, you call my cell that work does not pay for. You don't get all day access to me if I clearly show I'm busy working. Help. We're also overwhelmed. I'm worried I will lose it and say something I regret. Thanks so much. Anonymous. She may listen to the pod. Okay, I hope you're listening.
This is tough because I am that girl.
You just keep calling.
I do not respect boundaries. I will call, I will text, and then I'll text and act like I'll be like, hey, you don't have to call me back. Like if I really want to get a hold of someone. But I also remember when I had a desk job, AIM like chat, and I was so bored. So I would just like chat like other friends. And I had one friend who had it open all the time and we were like best friends, but she just like didn't answer sometimes. And while I don't think she was ignoring me, she was just busy. And so I really do believe when we say we teach people how to treat us, sometimes that has to do with behavior as well. Not just like, hey, I'm not being rude to you, so you don't be rude to me. Like I have a certain agent who just like doesn't call me back. So I just don't expect it. And I definitely like, I worked with someone who was a fucking psycho and I hated talking to them. In the 3 years that I worked with them, I never answered the phone. Not once did it stop. And I do think that they stopped reaching out to me. I never answered. And I know that that's hard for you because this person isn't bad. They do want a relationship with you. You're so tired at work that you don't want an external relationship with this person and you don't want to dick around. And that's great. You have to keep doing what you're doing. And I think there's a setting, I'm hoping you have an iPhone if you're a fan of mine, where you can like maybe give them a separate ring or have them on mute or or silent or do not disturb. And you have to continue to do that. You just have to continue to do that. That's all. And if they call when you text back, always like, I can't talk right now. What's up?
Yes.
I do that also with regular people. Sometimes you just don't want to talk on the phone. You're like, I can text though, because that somehow takes less mental energy, moving your mind and your thumbs. I can't talk now. What's up? Hey, can't talk right now. Like you can just always say that.
Yeah, you.
That's it.
She's calling on your cell. You're not answering work. She's calling on your cell. Don't answer. Just never answer. Well, what's she going to do? Get you in trouble? Like, don't answer. Say, I was busy. I missed it.
You don't even have to say that. You never have to answer it. You never have to say, hey, sorry, I didn't get back to you earlier. Never. And if she ever says like, well, Can you talk now? You'd be like, I'm super busy. Is this something about work? Like, just always make it about that. You clearly are someone that she wants to talk to. So maybe it's tough if you did have that relationship and now you don't want to. I'm interested to know, like, is there an age difference here? Do you not like the person? Because if it were me, I'd be like, I would love to waste like 20 minutes talking to you. But clearly you don't get any value out of this person who's not a bad person, but can't help you career-wise and is not stimulating otherwise. The more you do it, the more rote it will be for you to just be like, oh, I hear that babbling brook noise. That means I don't listen to it. Don't answer.
And I know people where I have close friends where I know they're not going to always reply to my text. And I have to be okay with that and be okay texting a second time later. And then they reply as though nothing has gone wrong. And you just like, they need to accept you as this person doesn't just answer phone calls. They're busy.
By the way, you didn't say if you had kids or not, but if you have kids, there's your answer. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm a very good text person. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, I didn't write that person back. And it's not even that like I have like 2 kids hanging off of me. It's just all consuming. And even if you don't, you still got a lot of work. Like, it's just crazy. Like, work's crazy.
Is it incorrect that I just assume I'm like, oh, parents are really busy because fluids are just constantly coming out of their kids and that's taking up a lot of their time?
It's just the kids. Like, you're like, can you sit on that chair? They're like, what if I went under the chair and then stood on the corner so it almost fell over? What if I sat on a chair in a way that no human had ever thought to interact with a chair? And we sang Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. What if the bloody nose I had yesterday has dried blood that's creeping out of my nose now and I won't let you wipe it off?
It sounds like a party at your house.
When I tell you my daughter ate shit the other day, in a way, like when you look up the definition of fall, it's just a video of this kid running at full speed, eating a mouthful of dirt, bloody nose. I picked her up. There was blood on my face. And I was like, take a picture of this, Noah. This is the closest I'll ever get to seeing combat.
Did you laugh because she fell or you didn't because it was your child? And you were
No,
scared?
I didn't laugh because it was like,
Surprising.
I wasn't scared. You just want to stay calm because you're like, I was hoping she didn't like lose a tooth. Not that it would matter because it's a baby tooth, but still. But a bloody nose is a rough thing. Most kids just get them, but to get it from impact, that's rough.
Right, not from
She
picking.
runs so hard. Nope. Not like her mama.
Dear Eliza and Emily, at the risk of bringing down the mood, how do I handle grieving publicly for my friend? I'm a live event producer and thrive behind the scenes, and my friend was my front of house voice. We worked together for almost 2 decades, and we were family. He was like my uncle. He was kind, boisterous, and never met a person who didn't immediately become his friend. I'm reserved and like to stay behind the scenes. We were a perfect pairing. He passed away suddenly about 6 weeks ago. It wrecked me. It's still wrecking me. It's affected me more than losing family members. And now, not only does it follow me to find the next person to do what he did, but I also have to produce what is essentially a live public memorial for him, not his funeral. I want to do these things for him. Nobody else should. He deserves my best. But in what world is it normal to actively find a replacement for your friend? When grief is normal and should be a private and personal thing, it's now public and everyone is watching to see what I do and how I handle it. For the most part, I'm okay, but then it hits me sideways. I just want to do right by him. I'll take a joke, song about Tianfu, or Rizzoli and Isles reference. I missed that show. Or Comic-Con story, anything. I need a go-to distraction. Love to you all. I always know I'll laugh on Wednesdays. Emily, P.S. I'm coming to one of your October shows, which is about a week before the event when we're honoring him. I already know I'll welcome the escape of nonstop laughter. Laughter really does cure all.
Wait, your shows?
To your show. I'm coming.
She said Emily, P.S.
No, this person's name is Emily. Our question asker is also Emily. That's allowed. And they're coming to your show. So there's 2 questions here, right? One is, I worked with this person. I need a replacement. That's hard. And the other is, they're publicly, they're putting on this memorial event. So they are going to be speaking on him and like grieving him publicly with his other friends. So any thoughts on either of those questions?
Well, I am a front of the house person, so it's not, I'm so used to being in the spotlight, but that for me is not an obstacle. So I think you need to take some of the pressure off of yourself. It's not like you're the widow to a dead king. you know, like this guy died and it's awful and that was your friend, and 20 years is a lifetime. But whatever you do will be enough. And if you're uncomfortable speaking, you don't have to speak. Your best might be what you are best at, which is producing. So maybe you produce a beautiful evening and book speakers and stuff like that. But first of all, there's no expectation. You're not his widow, by the way. Like the expectation, don't put too much pressure on yourself.
I mean, if I died, you'd have to publicly speak on me, and you're not my widow. I probably wouldn't know for
a very long time. I've said all the nice things. I have. I mean,
I know you have. I'm just saying there would be an expectation because we worked together publicly.
But I said at the beginning, like, that's a very comfortable space for me. Of course, you want to say the right thing. Maybe it would help if you wrote down what you wanted to say to him privately, and then you could distill it, or you could read it, or you can opt out and you can just say, I'm not good with words. You could read a poem. That's always a boring way out. A limerick, a Bible quote, whatever. But it's not on you to eulogize this man if that's not something that you're comfortable doing. So just do what you do best, which is produce a beautiful event. And as for hiring someone else, look, the economy's not great. People want to work. People love to perform. You will find someone. They may not be your friend, and you don't need them to be your friend. It will be, it's like when you get a new dog, like that cannot be your old dog. It will be a new kind of relationship, and it will never replace the old one. Mm-hmm. But take your time and just know that however you do, whatever you do, it will have been enough. And it will have been the right thing. Because by the way, they're not comparing this to anything else. I often think about that when I take on a new, say, challenge, whether it's a part or stand-up or performing or speaking about something or somewhere. They're looking to you to just create it. Yeah. And like it or not, producing is still art. Like they're looking to you to just create it. And whatever you do is what it will have been. And no one's going to be saying like, oh, but she didn't say this thing, or she didn't read this part, or she didn't do that. Like people are just as lost as you are in everything. And that is advice to everyone. That's why whenever I do like press and they're like, could you make some kind of video? I don't even watch the examples because I'm like, it doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong way to do a lot of things. Anything really when it comes to art. When it comes to art.
All right. You're just filming your videos.
That was such a good answer.
It was really good. It was.
You're like,
really,
anyway.
No, it was really good.
You're just upset because I'm not going to give you a eulogy.
No, I don't need to. I'm just saying it's weird when you're expected to speak to it. People DM me things about you and wanted me to speak to them. And I'm like, I don't speak for Iliza.
Right. I'll speak at your funeral. When is it? When is it so I can zoom in on Teams or whatever?
10 baby cokes from now.
Baby cokes? That's funny. That's the episode, 10 baby cokes from now.
I like when the listeners sometimes really come in like, why wasn't this other thing the name? And I'm like, oh, it's good. I'm glad that they're listening now for those sentences. And they're like, oh, that should have been the name.
Must be overwhelming to have all 6 people chime in on the same Instagram post.
You get a lot of people chiming in when you go in and you argue with them.
Let me get in there. Oh yeah, that happened. What was it? Oh, the woman who got upset because we were talking about Blake Lively, and I was just like,
well, that was
can't
2
tell
weeks.
If you're on her side.
And then recently about Sweden and tall poppy syndrome. It's never anything big, but it's just funny when I see you commenting back, and I'm like, oh, this thread's gonna blow up now. I'm getting hit with notifications, and I'm like, these have nothing to do with me.
I want to start by just being like, you got me fucked up. Let me reiterate. There's a comic, Jimmy Carr, who I really like as a person as a comic, but I like him, I know him as a person. And his email signature is like, never complain, never explain. And I love complaining, but like, I like the never explain, because to deign to explain would mean that like, I'm getting down in the muck. I'm like, no, this is output. It's there for you to consume. I'm not here to mince words and reiterate and be like, what I actually meant. If you don't get it, you didn't get it. It's okay. Not everything's for everyone every moment.
Right. You can't control how it hits everybody's ear.
But I would love to control hitting me.
I've noticed that, at least since I've had my babies, that I smell differently when I sweat. Maybe I'm just like getting older. I don't know, but I smell differently. And I don't love that. If I'm on set or if I'm on stage or if I'm doing anything like functioning in public and I don't want sweat stains or to be aware of my stinky pits, that's when I turn to Lumi Whole Body Deodorant because it keeps me smelling fresh all day. Lumi is seriously safe to use anywhere on your body. Pits, under boobs, right ladies, thigh folds, belly buttons, butt cracks, your feet. It's clinically proven to block odor all day and control odor for up to 72 hours. How? Well, unlike certain traditional deodorants that may try to mask odor with a fragrance, Lumi is formulated and powered by mandelic acid to stop odor before it starts. Lumi's starter pack is perfect for new customers. It comes with a solid stick deodorant, cream tube deodorant, 2 free products of your choice like mini body wash or deodorant wipes, and free shipping. As a special offer for listeners, new customers get 15% off all Lumi products with our exclusive code. If you combine the 15% off with the already discounted starter pack, that equals over 40% off the starter pack. Use code Iliza for 15% off your first purchase at LumiDeodorant.com. That's code Iliza at LumiDeodorant.com. The holidays are here. And for a lot of us, the holidays mean decorating, hosting, celebrating. For me, it means a lot of traveling, and nothing feels better year-round, but especially during the cozy holidays, than a restful night's sleep in soft, luxurious sheets. Boll & Branch's signature sheets are made with the finest 100% organic cotton, and they get softer with every single wash. You already know that I got Boll & Branch this summer when I needed breathable sheets to sleep in, but this holiday season, I'm actually gifting some of my friends and family Boll & Branch's Ultimate Softness Bundle. I get to choose a signature hem sheet set in any color, a signature hem pillow set, and a waffle bed blanket. And they're all getting juniper because I think it's a classy color. This way, you know you have something nice to sleep on when you visit. It's the perfect gift for you and them. Gift you and your loved ones a better night's sleep with Boll & Branch. And right now is their best offer of the entire year. For 25% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets, head to bollandbranch.com/Iliza. That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/Iliza for 25% off. Limited time only. Exclusions apply. See site for details.
All right, we have another question that I just think, I'm glad this is what the podcast has become. Subject, another Taylor Swift dilemma.
Okay.
Women with Taylor Swift tickets are your number one listening audience, Iliza.
I mean, she is her own economy.
I
And
know.
these things are several $100s. Like,
Thousands.
I get it.
I know.
It's basically up there with like airline dilemmas now. Like, it is its own environment.
Bridesmaids, Taylor Swift concerts. Yeah. Hi, AIA crew. Last week's episode inspired me to send in my own concert dilemma. I am seeing Taylor 3 more times this year. This is how I choose to spend my extra adult money. Don't judge. I'm still not at Nikki Glazer's level, who's gone like 20 times. LOL.
I'm not judging. I'm asking you to come see me.
And
spend a fraction of that and get so many more laughs.
You don't think
Taylor
they're
Swift is
yucking it
not
up?
funny?
She's doing little faces and whatnot.
She's incredible. She's my greatest competition. So
You're
please,
number one. It's you or her. People are don't have money left over to see you when she tours.
Because women like me and fans make my bracelets. I've had 2 people now say you're the Taylor Swift of comedy. And I was like, I'll take that. And like you're a prolific performer and very thin.
And blonde.
And tall.
You're not tall.
Is she?
She's tall.
Okay, Emily. Ew.
I mean, you're good sized, good height.
No, that's problematic. You're toxic. You're toxic.
Just so offended. You're so short.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're a regular size. Okay.
Somebody, just by the way, a woman yesterday was talking about like new parents, younger parents. She was like, and some of these parents, not like us, like in their early 30s. And I was like, she is not wrong. I am not in my early 30s, but like part of me was like, ouch. I was like, do I look old? Like she like knew I was 40 and I'm like, really? I thought I could play like 35. I had no makeup on. It was humbling.
You just have
It was one of those ones where you're mad at her, but I'm like, it's not her fault. Like she called it like it was. Maybe I just had on a bad sunscreen. Ugh.
You have to tell yourself everyone knows your age because you're famous.
I'm fine with that. I like it when you tell them, they're like, really? I'm like, that's right. Whatever. Direct sunlight, no makeup. Everybody looks 80. Moving on.
I am taking my little brother, my cousin, and my best friend. As the previous question asker said, tickets to this tour aren't cheap, and each person I've invited understands that. My best friend and cousin are both paying me as they can, and I'm not worried about it since they've already started sending portions. As for my little brother, this is where I'm stumped. He is 15. I'm 25, female, and obviously doesn't have an income. I took him 3 times last year and didn't expect a penny from him or my stepmom. However, flights from San Francisco to Vancouver are upwards of $700 now, and our hotel is $700 a night, which is the cheapest you can get in the area since hotels are price gouging for the concerts. Feels tacky to ask my stepmom to chip in since I'm the one that bought tickets for my little brother and I, but my friends are saying I need to. My stepmom has no shortage of money whatsoever, but still just feels wrong to ask for money for something I planned, kind of like hosting a dinner party then asking friends to chip in. I know this is a much larger scale, though, so what should I do? For more context.
We don't need it.
No, this is the most valuable context we've gotten, but I just got laid off, which is another reason I'm contemplating him/my stepmom not paying wouldn't really set me back since the ticket and the hotel are already paid for, but of course it would be helpful for the flights that I haven't booked yet. There's the alternative that I could invite someone that could pay their way since he's already been 3 times, but that feels unfair to him. Plus, I'd rather go with him over anybody else. Thanks for always being our voice of reason. So excited for your show on my birthday this November. So she is going to your show.
I'm glad you're coming to my show. You're talking about the show in San Francisco on November 23rd. And I would like to say the Taylor Swift concert that you're referring to in Vancouver is the reason we moved my Get Ready tour date from Vancouver from the date that we had to January because of exactly what you're talking about. We were at about 80% full several months out, but I was like, if we want 100% full and or add additional shows, I will not have a chance if the behemoth that is Taylor Swift is in the city. Also, I didn't want my fans to have to pay Taylor Swift hotel prices.
Oh.
So this isn't against Taylor Swift, but like if you're telling me it's that, I have people that fly in for my shows. Not everybody can do $700 a night. So that's why I was thinking about you guys and myself and I moved it. I don't care if you are gainfully employed. You plan something. It's really nice that you bought his ticket and you will be taking care of him and giving your stepmom a break. There is no problem with calling her or texting her. It sounds like you guys are okay and saying, here's what I did. I'm like, this is ending up being a little bit more than I can handle. Could you pay for his flight and hotel? She will say yes. That's it. You have to say that. You have to be heard because otherwise it'll create this weird rift. That is so much money.
So much.
I mean, I don't think it's $700 each. You're saying like $700 for the hotel, but you probably need 2 rooms unless you're getting like a big suite and he's sleeping on the couch, whatever. Especially a flight. You don't need to be paying for a child's flight. It'd be one thing, I hate to say this, like if it was your brother, your parents weren't there, they didn't have money, this was a special thing, but you've done this a few times now, that was really gracious, and you can't. And you didn't foresee not having a job, so just ask.
Yeah, it's so sweet that she's taken him several times and that she wants to go with him again. It's not like, oh, he's tagging along. Like, this is nice bonding time. Stepmom can chip in for the hangout.
And they will.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Your comfort or hers, what's it going to be?
The warmest of hellos to our favorite Iliza, Baby Arm, Smokey Husky, Hot Scotty #1, the Snow Peach, Rizzoli Niles, and may the sweetest little lamb and Gracie always rest in treats.
Wow, that was comprehensive. Thank you. You didn't miss anyone.
Covered the bases. The longest of longtime listeners here. Shout out to my truckers. And this is my confession. I had a best friend in high school and we had a huge falling out. Classic girl drama, details not important. Well, in college, I ran into her and tried to say water under the bridge and clear the air, but she blew me off and was super rude about it. For the record, she started the drama in high school.
Whoa.
So, while smack talking to my older sister, she had an idea and we sprung into action. We created a burner email and went to work on Craigslist. We created 4 different listings in 4 different cities. A free big screen TV in Brooklyn for pickup, a man with a foot fetish in Miami, a man who wanted to wear diapers and be treated like a baby in Vegas, and who knows what the 4th one was, but all tied to her phone number. Like they know what the 4th one was and it was really bad.
Yeah. Who knows? You know.
You know.
It's human trafficking. I'm writing you from jail. I trafficked a human and it was a goof.
It was a confession. We added to the post to make sure to leave voicemails in case the calls weren't answered. After the post, we logged out and agreed to never go back to that email again. Then we waited. Soon there was a Facebook post from her saying something about 300 plus missed calls, perverted messages, and having to change her number. Considering this was 15 plus years ago, I'd say the statute of limitations is up, and it feels so good to get it off my chest. Love you all. Please keep me anonymous.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize we were doing confessions. You didn't say that.
I said the word confession.
I thought she was saying she liked confession.
I said, and this is my confession.
Oh, I thought you were saying she likes, and this is my confession. In my mind, I heard the Usher song, and I was like, oh, I like that she liked that I sang that. That is an excellent confession. And all I'm getting from it is that your friend isn't a fan of the pod, because then she would know it was you. If she truly, unless you're the psycho, like if she truly was a giant bee, and really there is no harm, no foul. Like, yeah, it's annoying that people call your phone number, but 15 years ago, and I'm sure she's fine now. That's good. Oh man, you can never be friends with her again. Don't ever admit it. You can't be, this is the best way to slam a door, because it may have been open for a little bit, but doing something like that, like she will never be cool with you if she finds out you did that. And you can never be friends with her knowing that you did that, and like she doesn't know. And then she'll be like, can I tell you a secret? I started dating this person that really wanted me to put diapers on them. I met them through Craigslist. It was this freak thing. Good for you. You've emotionally shut that door. Ooh. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind that. No, but also because it was 15 years ago, it doesn't seem as bad as if you did it now. That'd be weird if you're on Craigslist now.
I know that they know what the fourth one was, and it was really bad.
That's the real confession. In fact, if you really want to unburden yourself, you'll tell us that fourth confession. Yeah. We'll be here.
Hi, Liza and Emily. Love you both. I've been listening since the beginning. I finally have something I'd love your takes on. I'm a 27 female working at a small technology company. I'm the only woman in the office, and I've been there for 6 months now. The majority of my colleagues are older than me. When I started, it became apparent very quickly that these guys like to drink a lot. I am a sober alcoholic. Thankfully, I got sober really young, so this doesn't necessarily trigger me, but they soon started making comments about my sobriety. Examples. They will say things like, "You look thirsty. Don't you ever want to drink at the end of a hard day? This client is going to drive you to drink." And one time a C-level...
That's so fucked up.
Yeah. One time a C-level person walked by me with a glass of tequila in his hand and said, "Come on." Yes, there is alcohol in the office. Now,
he had a whole glass of tequila. He shouldn't be at work.
Now, I don't normally come out and say I'm an alcoholic in the workplace because it's irrelevant and I don't think I should have to. However, after only working there for a few weeks, I decided it might be best to disclose a hint as to why I don't drink so that my colleagues would stop making these comments. When it came up in conversation, I simply said, "I come from a family of alcoholics, so I don't drink," which is true. Yeah. This didn't even work. My boss said, "Oh, just the men in your family then?" No, I couldn't believe it.
What does that mean?
I guess
who comes from an all-male family? Like, what are those powers of deduction? Like, I don't drink because are you from the Night's Watch? Game of Thrones. Just an all-male family, not a woman in sight because we self-procreate.
Drinking full glasses of tequila.
I don't do drugs. Oh, do you come from a family of birds? Like, what does that mean?
No, I couldn't even believe it. Now, granted, I didn't say this in front of everyone, just my boss, but I felt more comfortable saying it to just him to get the message out there, hoping he'd correct the behavior. I've gotten used to it at this point, but some days it just makes me want to lash out at them. I really don't want to have a serious sit-down conversation about it, but I'm not sure I have other options. What do you think? Is there a cool way I can go about this? At the end of the day, it's just a job, but I've started a lot of things I want on my resume now, so I don't want to leave yet. Thanks so much.
It's such toxic bro culture. And it's just like, why? You want to get me drunk so you can like fuck me? Like, is it like, I guarantee you're in like a position where you're helping these guys and they all think they're rock stars because they wear tech vests and energy drinks. And probably some of them, it feels very late 20s, early 30s. Your boss is a turd too. And it's tough because you don't want to like break down and be emotional. You don't want to scream and be like, because I'm an alcoholic. But you're not getting any empathy from him. But it might be if you're trying to do the cool girl thing, and I do appreciate that. You're like, I get that it's just a job, but it is unhealthy. You will have to go through this life in situations that are uncomfortable for your own sobriety. So it's great that you're like getting a taste of that now, but like at work, and it's tough too, because then you will be labeled like, whoa, don't joke about anything with her. And that's just what insecure people do that don't like that they can't like hold something over you. First of all, write all of this down. You don't seem like the type that's going to like sue them.
Do they have
your
HR?
Boss. Yeah, pull your boss to the side and be like, I need to talk to you. I don't care if you guys make jokes, but I do think if you had some context for why I don't drink, you would see that I'm not just being, and then put the words in his mouth. I'm not just being like some annoying girl that like thinks this is funny. I am an alcoholic. I am sober. I don't care that you guys drink. I don't care that you guys talk about drinking, but I'm never going to take a drink, and it's kind of fucked up that you guys are so obsessed with it. Like if he, like, I just think, I wonder if there's a way to like talk to him the way he's speaking to you. Because there's a version where they shun you for it. There's also the version where you just ignore it. That's so tough.
Right.
Because they won't know. And when you say to them, if you lose your cool and you're like, I'm an alcoholic, they'll be like, whoa, why didn't you just say something?
The culture there is really, it's tough because it's when these companies have alcohol that they'll like, oh, we do a little thing at the end of the day. We have a happy hour. It's that you'll stay there longer hours. It's for this forced, like, we're a family thing. It's all, they're like, we don't know how to talk to you unless we're drinking. We have nothing to say to you because we're boring older men. And they're just like panicking. Like, if she's not drinking, do we look bad? I want to drink a full glass of tequila.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad social graces in general. The fact that people like need alcohol to talk, it puts you in a compromised position because you're the wet blanket or you're a bitch, or now they feel they have to tiptoe around you. And so if you can't talk to the boss about it, you know, then, I mean, maybe you have to leave or you just have to suck it up because you cannot control their reactions. I mean, the perfect answer is you say this, they grow a modicum of compassion and they're like, oh my God, my sister's an alcoholic, my dad's an alcoholic, whatever. What you don't want to do is flip out. And also it's like people love when they're drinking to like get someone else to drink, but you want to just be like, if I were to drink, it definitely would not be with you because you guys are not a fun hang, but you don't want to be like battling these wounded, shitty men. However, maybe give them the benefit of the doubt because right now, by the way, not that you owe them a reason, but when people are secretive about stuff, like you're being secretive about this secret, it's coming off as annoying because they're like, what is up with this girl? Why doesn't she want to party? And they want you to be the cool girl. Now, you don't owe that to them. And again, you don't owe anyone an answer for anything. But I do think if you explained, if you straight up was like, I'm an alcoholic. I had to go to rehab. I don't care that you guys drink, but I don't want you to think I'm just not drinking to like make your life difficult or something. Like put it out there. And I wonder if you do that. Because human beings need reasons. You know, if you're the girl who always leaves and it's like, okay, well, we're all having fun and we're all boys and you're always leaving and you don't like us. Now you're making us feel bad about our manhood and we're insecure and you seem like, and then you're like, oh, I have to leave because I have dialysis every day. Then that changes it. And I bet you they'll be a little bit kinder because that's a very human thing. So it's tough because you were trying not to, it's in trying not to make it an issue. It's now become an issue because they think it's like this weird personal reason and it has nothing to do with them. I wonder if you could just say to your boss, like, I am an alcoholic. I don't care if you guys drink. I just wanted you to have some context about that because I think you guys just think I'm being annoying or think it's like funny and you think maybe I will take a drink, but every day I work very hard at saying no. And I want you to know that about me. I can't imagine a human who wouldn't be like, thank you for telling me that. Then it's on him.
How do you feel about the like party move of she just gets a glass of Coke and has it at her desk. And when people walk by, she's like, cheers. Okay, I'm going back to my computer with her little Coke.
Rashida Jones, Baby Coke. Rashida Jones' character did that on The Office. Like they were all drinking and every time they take a shot, she would just throw it behind her. The other version is like even if you could drink, like you don't want to be drunk with old dudes at
With
work.
all your coworkers who
That's
are all
fucked up.
older men,
Gross.
it's not a good power. Like if I'm at work, I'm not going to be drinking anyway because I'm at work.
You're like, cool. You know what I love to do? Get shit-faced in like a full Ann Taylor Loft clearance wardrobe.
Then drive
that is
home at
uncomfortable.
5. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. They probably bike. Feels like a bike office. Anyways, try being a human to your boss. And if they still are not cool, then seems like you might get HR involved and you might become the bitch that they think you are.
Yeah.
Or just leave. Nobody deserves
Stick
that.
around and do your projects. Hold your little cup and do your resume projects.
You'd be like, actually, I'm so good. I was already wasted when I woke up and I went ahead and did all of your taxes for you. So you're all going to jail. Have a nice night. I'm driving.
Hi, Liza, Emily, and the pod gang love you both. I, 32-year-old female, got married to my partner, 32-year-old male, 6 months ago, together for 5 years. Just after we got engaged a year prior, I started to be more honest with myself about my sexuality, but it took months and months of introspection and therapy to realize that I'm gay. There's something so ingrained in me by my family and society to be heterosexual by default. The connection with my husband had never been as deep as I wanted it to be, but I didn't realize this until I unexpectedly fell in love with a woman. Suddenly, my life and relationships started making more sense. Tried my best to figure it out before the wedding, and I know I should have brought it up sooner, but I was scared and really confused about my identity. I'm now 100% sure I'm not straight 6 months post-wedding. Getting married was the wrong choice, and I carry so much guilt over not speaking up sooner. So I know what was wrong, but I'm here now and trying to be as fair to myself and my husband as possible. I've always done what's best for everyone else, female millennial therapist here. But for the first time in my life, I'm being honest with myself and what I want, which is to be with a woman. I have nearly $20,000 in debt from the wedding. And by the time I realized I might not want to get married, the money was not refundable, not including the debt he took on, which I feel horrible about too. My question is, do you have any advice on how to navigate this process of blowing up my life and completely changing paths? Everything was good on paper, winky face, checking off our goals of finishing school, getting married, saving for a house, eventually having kids, turning 33 this October. And I know it's still young and I can have all those things with the right partner, but it's scary to make this decision and hurt my husband. I haven't talked to him yet, but he feels me pulling away. I have lots of support from close friends, but feel such dread over hurting my husband and our families, especially his, who paid for half the wedding and embraced me as their own. Any words of encouragement? Help. Sincerely, Lost Lesbian. P.S. Your comment in another episode to not spend another minute on this planet unnecessarily unhappy for someone else really helped in a time of turmoil. Thank you so much.
It makes me sad when women are in relationships with men who are not clued in. Because there's no way that you are today even close to the woman that you were when you first met or even 6 months ago. And he is also not complicit in a malicious way, but like is not catering to you because otherwise he would have known something is deeply wrong. And you can say he feels you pulling away, but within the fact that he hasn't said anything also shows that you were not connected. And it's not his fault, but he knows something is wrong. And he also doesn't want to blow you. Neither of you want to blow up your lives or hurt the other one. He's hoping it'll go away. He's also kind of not being there for you. The truth will set you free. And this hurts, but it's going to hurt a lot more the longer you wait. The kind thing you can do is tell him immediately. And it's going to be sticky and it's going to be painful. And there's going to be fight. And it might take days, it might take weeks. But the thing that you can do is by owning this, say, I want to pay for like half. I want to pay my debt. I want to sell my things. Now, just because you realize you were gay doesn't mean you have to like abandon all your earthly possessions or something. But if you could really be a partner to him for the first time and try to relieve as much of this fiscal responsibility as feasible, I think that would be a great step. He's going to be very angry, or he'll be like, yeah, I knew something was up, but his manhood will be hurt. And also make sure your family has your back, because that's probably where you're going to have to go. It's not your, I say, quote unquote, fault. And I can't even get mad at you for like not realizing it sooner. Like some people don't realize they're gay until way later in life. And maybe it took doing this to be like, oh no, I'm trapped here.
Right. You did all the things you thought you were supposed to.
This is definitely, you will be pegged as evil. His parents will be like, wow, she really took her time. You didn't. This is just when it was revealed to you. And I think it took actually getting married to realize this isn't what you want. Be a partner to him in putting your lives back together separately, but together. Selling as much as you can. Being as amenable financially. And never take on debt to have a wedding.
No.
For anyone. To anyone listening. You don't start your life by starting from behind.
Yeah.
He will find someone else. He will get married. You are doing this. You are helping him as well because he wants to have kids and he wants to start with someone. And you both deserve someone that loves you for you. And you both deserve to be in a marriage where there's not like a weird pull. So do it now. You don't need to have it all laid out, but you do need to have the goal of trying to make things as right as possible.
Yeah, it's not your fault what's happened. Right now is where it turns and you can be cruel or you can be kind. Like you can let him know. You say your friends are supportive. It sounds like maybe you've told them. So you're talking to other people about this. You haven't told him. Like you need to tell him. That's
awful.
And you cannot make it about you say you've fallen in love with another woman. I get how that cannot be, that woman cannot factor into this. What would happen with her in the future has nothing to do with you needing to end your relationship with your husband.
Because he's going to want to know, by the way, and he's going to be like, did you sleep with someone else? Like he still feels like cuckolded.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if this woman is the woman that you're going to marry. And you don't know that. Are you running into her arms? Did you just fall in love with her, but you're not going to see her? I don't know the details. And it almost doesn't matter because thank God she came along. Otherwise, you would have realized this way later. So, and also for, I don't know how much you love this other woman. The question doesn't sound like you fell in love, but maybe you didn't. I don't know. But again, yeah, Emily's right. It's not about her. Your focus now is how do I leave this as whole as I can make it? I do have a friend that this happened to. And they were together through an illness he had. And I think a lot of things that were distracting. And so, they both kind of weren't checking in with themselves. And they're friends now. And she's married to a woman. He's had like a string of serious girlfriends, whatever. But there is a version. And they don't have kids. So there's no reason to stay friends. But they're both in the same industry. It's not about like forgiving because there's nothing wrong with being gay. But this is an unfortunate situation. He will find a way to be whole again. It's just really going to hurt now, but it's going to hurt the more that you wait. And please stop telling people because that is shitty.
Yeah. Yeah. You got the support you needed. Your friends are there for you. He's the next person you talk to.
Turn off this podcast and go do it right now. Rip that Band-Aid off. And then everything from there is just moving toward the goal of both of you being happy. Even when it hurts, at least you're moving toward that.
Yeah.
The longer you don't admit it to him, the more you move away from the more steps backward you're taking. And by the way, can I say one thing? When you go to him and tell him this, be like, and so like he'll process it, be like, but I do have a plan. I would like to sell A, B, and C. You can keep this. I'll keep this. Like I want to work together. Don't just be like, I'm gay. I don't know. I guess I'll just leave. Like don't leave him with his proverbial and literal dick in his hand. Everybody cute.
It's the top of the cob. You're doing it right every day. You just take a bite, top of the cob.
Okay. I don't even know how to explain this. My bottom of the cob was my daughter kept like pulling at her crotch. And usually when kids do that, it means they have to go to the bathroom. But she kept saying she was like adjusting something. And I was just like, is your vagina okay? Like, right. I just always want to like, as an adult, when your vagina hurts, you're like, what am I going to do? Like a little kid. She's like, oh, I'm okay. And so I was like, well, let me look. And she had like a tiny little rash. And I don't, just from whatever, maybe I like took it for granted that she was like wiping herself because she's potty trained. Who knows? And so I'm like looking and she kept like closing her legs and moving. And I was like, I need to look at your vagina. And then I noticed that there was like a piece of lint or something was like on it. And I was like, I need to get this. And I'm like, opening her legs. And I was like, let me. And then Myrna came in. She's like, hell, we're both doing it. And I looked at my daughter and she's like closing her legs. And I was like, I don't want to be doing this either.
No.
And I don't want you to remember this as like like a bad thing. And I look at her, I go, I deeply do not want this to be a core memory for you, but you do have a piece of lint on your vagina and I just need to get it out so that so it doesn't hurt. So I just need you to not, and I'm like talking it out. I'm like, I need this to not have been a bad thing for you, but like I am in no way enjoying like holding open your legs.
Right.
So I can like touch your perfect little vagina with another woman who's helping. Like, please just let me do this and put some cream and don't talk about it again.
That's so sad.
I'm like, just so you know, like these are your private parts and no one can touch them but me or Glendy or Myrna or Daddy when we're changing. Like, you're just like, how do I explain that like I am touching your vagina, but you are okay with this?
Right.
But,
oh, that's so tough. There's all these like weird little things about having kids that I never even would have thought of.
I was like, maybe if I talk about it so much and like make it so clear that like I'm not enjoying this and it's okay that you're not either, then it won't be
everybody's
seen
having
as
a bad time.
Inappropriate. Oy. I was like, nobody is having fun right now. It is fuzz. I gotta take it.
How's she doing now? Is she doing better?
It's fine. Yeah. Little crotch.
Okay.
I put some cream. Where's my bottom of the cup? I was like, I'm not a fucking child molester. I'm just trying to like, how did this get in here? All right.
Okay. Fan bottom. When you finally change your bed sheets after life has been really busy and within a day or two you come down sick with a fever and have sweats and chills in your fresh, clean sheets, making them gross and icky, and you have to do the whole process over several times when you don't have the energy because you are actively sick. Lavender.
Lavender. What a cute name. First of all, you should be changing your sheets often anyway. Second of all, thank God you changed your sheets. Third of all, if you're that sick that you have to change your sheets that many times, like you need to be in a hospital bed.
Well, right after talking about her sick, wet sheets, Lavender does have an offer for you. My family and I own an allergen-free bakery in the great Austin, Texas area called Pie Jacked, and we have a menu item called a cobbler cookie. It's like the top of the cobbler is the cookie base with our fruit pie filling and vanilla glaze on top. And it's just chef's kiss. We don't have it in case all the time, but if Iliza or any of our crew ever find themselves in Round Rock, we can make it up special order. Doesn't even have to be announced who it's for. We'll do it for anyone as long as we have the ingredients. Hot tip.
Folks, stop by. What's the name of the bakery?
Pie Jacked in Round Rock.
Stop by Pie Jacked in Round Rock and take a break and
get a cobbler cookie.
Can you change the name to Top of the Cobbler for us since it's your bakery anyway? And it would mean a lot to me, even though I don't know if I'll ever make it there. It sounds scrumptious. And then take a picture to prove you did it. Don't just say you did it. Thank you. Lavender. Sick Lavender.
Sick Lavender.
You know whose name was Lavender? The little girl. There's a little girl in Matilda. Adorable little girl who went to the school, and her name she was like so tiny. Lavender.
She was so small. She was great with that lizard.
Yeah.
Okay, my bottom is, you know, when you're excited for a food, it's a stupid food. It's like a turkey leg or what in this case, it's a giant pretzel. You know, there's those event food, baseball hot dog, turkey leg I don't like a turkey leg, but you know what I mean? Like event food, big pretzel. All weekend, I saw people walk around big pretzels. Finally, last night, I'm like, before we leave, I'm going to get one. And I get one. And it's the size of my head. I took a picture with it. Has so much salt on it. I'm like over the trash can, scraping off all the salt. Scraping salt. And then I just bit into it. It just was salt. Didn't live up to my excitement. And that's not a food. That's not like a souffle where it's like, this could go really wrong or really right. It's a big pretzel. Why'd you put so much salt on it? I was looking forward to this.
I'm sorry, Emily. You spend so much time at conventions. I can smell you through the screen. And I just feel like it's limiting your lifespan.
The summertime, because I work the 2 for work in July. This is the one that I go to with my dad every year in Atlanta. I didn't work it. And so I ate a big pretzel and he paid for it. Sucker.
And it's like that. What's that special kind of sugar that they use on like canelibula? Like the pearl crystal sugar, pearl sugar. It's like pearl salt. Like the salt on pretzels is big, like chunky, big.
Yeah.
And it too salty. You're like, no mustard is going to cut this. But if there's no salt, you're just like, what am I? You're just eating bread. I feel you. Top of the cup.
Top of the cup.
You go.
My top of the cob is
also that pretzel.
No, but it is convention related. When someone is taking a photo for you and they take multiple, I think that's very thoughtful, especially when, I'm chit-chatting with celebrities I'm paying for the time to meet with, right? So it's not like a chit-chat, but I'm talking to them. And someone took some photos of us talking. We're like, the celebrity's smiling. And I was like, oh, they got some nice candids of this experience above and beyond. That's thoughtful. Any photo taking situation where someone takes a few extra, it's a nice little gift.
It is nice. The counterpoint to that is when people do like several bursts and like my husband does that. Like you take a picture and they take like 15 and you're just like, okay, no, I have to erase all these. My eyes are closed and most of these, like just take one good one, shoot to kill. Top of the cob for the fan.
My top of the cob is having a nice hearty stash of new AIA episodes to listen to. I gave birth 7 weeks early due to some unexpected complications and haven't been able to listen each week, resulting in a hefty backlog of unlistened to episodes. Long story short, I woke up one morning with what I thought was indigestion, and 34 hours later, there was a baby. Now that baby boy's out of the NICU and we're all home together, I'm looking forward to introducing him to the many sounds of the podcast, especially the kick it soundbite with the chicken.
I'm just glad you have your priorities straight.
I know. Baby's out. That's the first thing they're going to hear.
Let's get back to it. Congratulations. My top of the cob is I was in an elevator with Hunter and our new tour manager, Katie, and we were in Minnesota. And we get in the elevator at our hotel, and this man gets in with us, and he's carrying a big paper bag like you'd get from like a bodega, like for groceries. And I noticed that it's dripping. And I can see like water bottle tops out of the top of the bag. And we see this dripping and it's dripping. And then he says something about the floor, like the key didn't work. And Hunter's like, hey man, like you're really dripping. We look down, like there's water just soaking his pants. No. And it's dripping all, like his water broke, like all over the floor. Like the higher the elevator goes, the more the water just starts to come down. And we were like, hey man, you've got a lot of water coming out of the back. He goes, I stole some of the bottles of water from the restaurant downstairs. And we're like, okay. And it's dripping. And he goes, oh no, what do I do? The idea, it was so endearing. Like a grown man would look at three strangers and be like, what do I do? And I was like, just leave it. Like it's a hotel elevator. Like someone's going to clean it up. There's just water on the floor. And he steps out. And he turns to us, he's holding all these bottles, and he looks at us, and as the doors are closing, he goes, guys, don't tell anybody.
Oh, no.
And I just think it's such a cute, like, we're in this together, right? Like, first of all, you're not in trouble.
Right,
second of all, just being like, don't tell anybody. And the other day, I was sitting on the ferry, and I got popcorn, and like a bunch of it fell out of my bag onto the floor, and I looked up and a guy was looking at me and I just went shh, and he was like, and he zipped his lips. He's like, secret safe with me. Just creating like little very low stakes secrets with strangers is a very like minor league punk rock, like it's us versus them, right? He's like, guys, don't tell anyone. I'm like, except for my podcast, I won't. It was very cute.
Right, that guys, hotel is like, now we know it was a man.
Now we know. What am I gonna do? So cute. I will see you all in the Hard Rock in Northern Indiana, Gary, Louisville, Kentucky, and Nashville. I will be there this weekend at the Ryman, Louisville Palace, and tickets at Iliza.com/tour. Coming for you guys. Midwest, but also the South.
Ooh.
Oh, also my bottom of the cob. I forgot my other bottom of the cob.
What?
Which is that Tianfu, we put her up on a chair. A neighbor came over and she freaked out when the neighbor took a step toward her so hard that this incredibly athletic, agile little dog leapt so quickly off the table, fell on her face, and was just dripping blood all over the patio and like licking. And I was like, oh no, like I hope her teeth didn't get knocked out. So she's fine, but there's a big scab like right on the little black part of her mouth. And she's fine. I just felt so bad for her.
Yeah.
So now I have to just kiss around it.
Yeah, don't kiss the scab. Let it heal.
Kiss the scab.
Kiss the scab.
You have a vision for your business. Your priority might be to
expand facilities
or
bring in the best talent.
At Century Insurance, we listen, learn, and work to understand your business and your plans to help protect your
new locations.
As your business evolves and your vision comes true, Sentry. Right by you. Property and casualty coverages and underwritten and safety services are provided by a member of the Sentry Insurance Group, Stevens Point, Wisconsin. For a complete listing of companies, visit Sentry.com. Policies, coverages, benefits, and discounts are not available in all states. See policy for complete coverage details.
After the end of a good fight, you deserve an ice-cold reward. Modelo, you put in the hours, the energy, the tough labor, because you know the bigger the fight, the better the reward. Modelo, the mark of the fighter. Drink responsibly. Beer imported by Crown Imports, Chicago, Illinois.